on the right side of the house, I've got this tree right here, which is a problem. It's actually 3 trees. The main one is 1 tree. Then there's this one that goes up and it's broken off into that tree. That just happened. And I've been wanting to get rid of this tree for that very reason. You know, all on this side it's wide open, so it's really exposed to wind. It's just a crappy tree to start with. I'm not even sure what it is. And then it's some other scraggly ones in here. So it's pretty close to the house. You know, I don't want this to fall over and rake the side of the house. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it down. It's kind of tricky because it's all mixed up in a fence down here. But I'm going to use my pole saw and try to kind of clean up all this stuff at the bottom. And then I'm going to try to put a rope around all of it that when I tighten in on that rope, it squeezes it all together. Notch everything. And then with a truck over here, I have an extremely long rope. The rope will go up, wrap around the tree, and then as I'm cutting it, I'm going to get somebody to pull on it. And hopefully all goes well. Hello everyone. I'm upstairs in the stairwell, and then right through here is Chandra's room. You're all familiar with it. This is where I cut the hole into the other room and then move that wall to make it easy access into the bathroom. In here the drywall's not too bad. Everywhere else in the house I've torn it down, but I went ahead and started doing it. I'm going to tear the drywall out in this room as well, including the stairwell and the landing at the top. And it is very tricky. So the interior wall has the wood paneling, had tongue and groove on it, and it's wallpapered, and then 2 layers of drywall. So it is the devil getting it off. 1 layer of drywall is nailed on, the other layer is screwed on, and that is making it all very difficult. There was some blow-in insulation in this wall, not fully, but some. So that's a mess. So I'm going to try to today. I always overestimate myself. That's usually the only way I can get started. I'm going to try to get all the drywall in these boards torn out everywhere else. So that is going to be really tricky. I want to go ahead and do this to where I have all fresh insulation, fresh wiring, drywall that's going to match the rest of it. It's just going to make everything else easier, even though this step is very tricky. Yeah, so I'll be able to have matching lighting. So up in here you got your collar ties that tie the rafters together. So I'll be able to recess my lighting up into that part. I could even put a ceiling fan in here if I wanted, since it's a higher ceiling. We'll see. So let me go ahead, get started, and hopefully it goes smooth. I want to try to get all of this done today. And I even have the fantasy of getting it all loaded up into a trailer and taking it all off to the landfill tomorrow. Well, that's the end of the normal video. I'm here in my basement a month or two after I filmed that. It's been a while since I worked on anything related to that project or these videos. And I want to show you something. This is a project that I started 8 to 10 years ago. Probably many of you know about it, but I would say the majority of the people watching these videos do not. Before you're able to actually start framing your house, you're going to need to have a design. It took me quite a while to come up with the design, and I'm going to do some videos on that process later. But we're going to go ahead and skip ahead to the part where I've already finished the design and started building. I started out with an old trailer. It was a travel trailer that I bought for $100, fixed it up, and got it ready for framing. Once it was ready, I gathered up the tools, materials, and started building. So framing up a tiny house isn't too much different than a full-size house, except for variances in dimensions of lumber and so forth, mainly just the scale of everything. I nailed together the subflooring framework with a nail gun first and then went back in with screws. As you can see here, I've got the windows all laid out on the subfloor and some 2x4s sort of marking out the different interior design. And all of this was sort of during the design process. I call it sort of an active design process where you're designing and building at the same time. I was lucky that the travel trailer had a full-size sheet of aluminum underneath the entire structure, so I reused that on my tiny house underneath the subflooring. You can see in this picture where I patched up all the holes with foil tape and flashing. I insulated the floor with R13 fiberglass insulation and used 7/16 OSB as the actual subfloor sheathing. By now I had finished up my windows and I had them all laid out, designed, and built the walls down flat on the subflooring. Once each wall section is complete, you just tilt them up into place and screw them down to the subflooring. You're going to want to make sure your trailer is nice and level so that when you go to connect each wall section, they are all square and plumb. Once work downstairs was complete, I moved upstairs. The upstairs work consisted of framing the loft floor, the walls where the loft windows would be mounted, the ridge beam, and the rafters. The rafters are 2x4s and the ridge beam is a 2x6. It's actually two 2x6s joined together to make the full length. To temporarily hold the ridge beam in place, you prop it up using some 2x4 material and then start attaching the rafters, and then that's what actually makes sure that it is held dead center down the middle of the house. And here's my lovely little girlfriend employing her leg holding technique using the jigsaw to cut out the birds' mouths, which are the part of the rafters that fit over top the top plate on the top of the wall. And here's some shots of the framing once it was completed. It's about 99% done, the 2x4 type framing. Of course there was more work, but this shows you the gist of it. I really like it in this stage, the way it looks. Looks like a toy, a little model of a house, not so much an actual little house. And this wasn't so much supposed to be a how to frame it, just a video just showing my process. That's one of my pictures I like. It was up on the peak of the roof during construction. Right after I got finished, it was a hurricane, so I just wrapped the whole house up, and then after the hurricane was over, I put the sheathing on the outside. There's some interior shots just for those of you who'd like to see them. You can pause these and look at them more closely if you'd like. It's up in the loft area. It was kind of fun working up in there. It's a top plate filling in between the rafters. The little wall up in the loft. And that's how I filled in between the rafters where the rafter tails stuck out. And then that's the framing for the loft above the porch. And to keep you all intrigued, I wanted to show you some more recent photos of progress. I won't explain things too much. I'll just kind of let them go, and in upcoming videos I'll sort of tell you more about what these were. I've got a lot of videos coming up, and the videos are going to get more detailed. I wasn't planning on doing videos early on, so I was just taking a couple of photos, but as progress has moved forward and I had my other channel going, I decided that this was a lot of good content that I didn't want to ignore, and I thought people would be interested in it. So tune back in for more videos on progress. Just check back every week or so, and I should be posting a video. Trying to get one up every week, but could be every 2 weeks or more on occasion. Well, that wraps up things for today's video. I'm glad you tuned in and stayed with me this long. If you'd like to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel and you will get updates when I post future videos. You can give them a thumbs up, comments, and ask questions and all that. You can also see me on Facebook, where I'll post pictures and other updates. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. That channel has 28,000 some subscribers. The channel that I post that project on is called Square Inch, and I started that one after the Homestead Craftsman and well before I started Homemade Home. And then Homemade Home obviously is the one that is taken off. So I'm thinking I want to post some of these videos over here on this channel since it's a broader audience, but then I'm going to maintain that other channel as a very specific tiny house related channel where I may ramble on about things that perhaps some of the people on this channel won't find as interesting. My big reason for wanting to post those videos over onto this channel as well, or special edits of that project on this channel, is because some of the details, like I'm planning on doing concrete countertops, making a concrete farmhouse style type sink, projects like that within the overall project would not happen in my rental renovations, which will be probably the majority of the renovations I do for a while. I one day will probably get into doing some renovations of houses that I just fix up to sell, but a lot of the stuff I do is just so, I'll say low end as far as how much I buy it for. There's just not a lot of cost and ownership of the stuff that I have. I buy it low, I renovate it myself, and then I've just got this thing that was fairly easy to obtain that is worth a lot more if I need to sell it one day, but it'll only become worth more and more, and I can make an income off of it in the meantime. And there's benefits of owning real estate and having rental property and the passive income in general. But so concrete countertops, doing like more custom interior work, cooler stuff on the outsides, just kind of, I'd say, a more creative approach will occur on this project than it will my rental houses. So I think that that will be interesting for everyone, but especially the half of my viewers that are watching for, I'd say, entertainment or for inspiration on their own houses, not the other side of things where I think it's people who want to watch because they want to get into specifically buying and renovating cheap houses and turning them into rentals or just selling them or whatever it is you have in your head. So this project is also a much more personal project. When I renovate a house, I'm doing it strictly for financial reasons. I mean, I enjoy it in a way, but it does wear on you. Those projects just drag on and on and on, and then it's a slow project. Then filming on top of that, it becomes very tricky. So I've posted 2 videos recently on the Square Inch channel. You can go check those out if you want. One is sort of just a reintroduction to that project after not working on it for a very long time. Then the second one is sort of a mix of running my mouth and doing some work on it. And then I've already filmed enough stuff to probably have 2 or 3 more videos that I'll be editing soon and posting. The house has already been moved from where the construction has occurred to where it's going to be located. So that is a huge step for me personally, and if I didn't mention it already, this is going over where that brick ranch house was that I renovated on this channel. So that came with land and barns and stuff like that, so it's kind of going to be put over where the barns and everything are. It'll be a place for me and my family to go for fun. It'll be a place for me to kind of stay when I'm just down there working on projects that require me to be down there for several days. It's just a fun thing to do. It's a place to put this thing that I started. When I first started making it, I was just, I don't know, however old I was, so about 23, 24, somewhere around there when I started it. I just did it because I thought it was cool. Did it because I thought I'd probably stay in it some. I started building it on my side of my parents' driveway, and it's just been sitting basically there ever since. So I needed to kind of do something with it before anything, you know, happened to it as far as just it being unfinished sitting there for that long. Its current state is I've got the metal roof on, all the cedar shakes on the outside are done. I still need to do the siding on the bottom. It's moved to its location. I'm just trying to figure out exactly where it's going to go. Over there, I need to get the electric and water going. That will sort of be used for the barns and everything, but then I'll just, you know, have a wire run over to it. It's just like having a camper. It's not a permanent structure. I mean, I can move the thing pretty much any time. Basically functions just like it's a fancy camper. So I hope you all are excited about that. Of course, if you want to see those videos now, just go over there and check them out. And then I'll probably be producing some specific ones from that content for this channel as well. And then ongoing, it'll be kind of filming all new stuff. But I'm going to kind of bring y'all up to speed on that project first. This video is probably a little bit wonky, but I did enjoy kind of getting back into editing. I've been gone from my house for a while and working on that project. So I'm back. Need to do some furniture stuff. I need to get back to work on the $9,000 house and get back into the swing of YouTube. So thank you all for bearing with me. Thank you for all your kind checking-ins to see if I am okay. Again, everything was fine. I just wanted to do some me time, stuff with my family in general, and work on that house. It is very, very easy to let time slip by working towards your future and not do anything in the present. And that is, if you kind of get on any kind of an ambitious path, it's very easy to do that. You're always thinking about your end goal, and your end goal could be 20 years away. In 20 years, I'm going to be in my 50s. So, you know, you don't want to skip your 30s and your 40s worrying about your 50s. There's a certain amount of preparation you need to be doing. You know, I don't want to say a corny phrase, but it's, you know, it's one of those phrases like, it's not the destination, it's the journey kind of a thing. So that is true, and I was being guilty of kind of constantly dreaming about the future and what I want, really wanting those things now, but just almost getting overwhelmed by what you have to do to get those things and knowing how long it's going to take. And so I had to step back from that and control myself a little bit and just work with what I have now as well. So I think it's a combination of enjoying what you have and then working towards what you want. And for me, it's not so much stuff. There's some stuff that I want, but it's more a lifestyle of not having to work all the time, basically setting up that income and then just having that freedom to do whatever it is you want, whenever you want to do it. But compared to years ago, I already have a version of that, so I want to try to kind of enjoy it. You know, your standards are always rolling. Whatever point you get to, there'll be this next thing kind of in your sight that you're always going for. So keep that in check. I'm trying to keep it in check myself. And I think that'll be about it. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will hopefully see you soon in a new video.